it's hard to describe, but it almost feels like I was in another state of consciousness, and I kind of forgot that I was even there. And that's on and off for the past 4 years. I used meditations in my daily routine, in my daily life, and tried a bunch of stuff, bunch of different meditations. And if you're interested on how it changed my life and in what way I benefited from these meditations, then you should keep watching. So the first time I heard about meditation in some way. I remember I was like about 19 years old, and I looked out of my balcony and I saw my brother like meditating, sitting like that on the balcony. And I remember at that time had a very negative attitude. I was like, "Oh man, what's he doing? That he's like, is he doing that crazy stuff? That's like." I thought about it very negatively, and I didn't talk it to him, but I made fun. Like, I thought it was funny that he meditated, and I didn't really thought that it was something for real. I thought that it was something like very esoterically that doesn't make sense, that doesn't work. So, but I saw him, and it sparked my interest in some way. So a little bit later than that happened, I used to have panic attacks, and I used to get extreme anxiety, and it was so intense that I thought I'm about to die, basically. And that's how strong the feeling of anxiety was. And at that time, I kind of thought back about using meditation, and I watched a lot of videos on YouTube about meditation, about guided meditations, and I thought, yeah, fuck it, just sit down for 3 minutes, and I did it, and it was very, very calming, and I noticed that I felt a lot better. I felt a lot less anxiety, and that's what kept me going on the meditations, and that's what got me into it. So for a period for half a year, I meditated in the morning and in the evening, and I at that point used the app which is called Headspace, and I started with guided meditations, and I eventually did them free for, I think at the end of the half year I used to do 20-minute long meditations, and it was good, but I wasn't really seeing it yet. The real benefits, I was a lot calmer, but yeah, I kept going with it. So that's when I discovered, a little bit of time later, I discovered the mindfulness-based meditations, and I already did some of them back then, but I didn't really knew about it. What's the difference between mindfulness-based and concentration-based meditation? So mindfulness-based meditations basically means that you focus on everything that you're feeling, that you're thinking. You're just aware of everything and not really focusing on a specific thing like your breath or a point on the wall, which is the concentration-based meditation. So I experienced and I did the mindfulness-based meditations. And at that point, I was doing a program from Julian Blanc, and he had different guided meditations that triggered certain emotions, sensations in the body, and are meant to help you process and let go of certain feelings and sensations in the body that you're holding back. And that's what I basically did for a long time. And that's not the most comfortable meditation because it really triggers you inside. So it's not something that I always looked forward to, and I still do them, so I don't really look forward to them. But that's where I recognize the most changes in my life. So I've been doing them for about 2 years, on and off. I always did them for a longer period of time, then stopped, but I always got back on it because I noticed you can get a lot from them, and I got a lot from them. And recently, and 1 year ago, I had more and more experiences where I just sat down in a meditation and I lost feeling of time completely. It's hard to describe, but it almost feels like I was in another state of consciousness and I kind of forgot that I was even there. And that's a really pleasant state to be in. So it's very relaxing. You lose track of time, of thoughts. And that's what as I got back on it and noticed that it got to a point for me where almost every meditation that I do gets me in this state where I would call it, in this timeless state of just being. And that's actually something that has bettered my life a lot. And I'm still very excited to go into the meditation because that's like states that when you're in this society life and go to the job and in school and do your things all day, you don't really experience how it feels like to just sit down and be with yourself. And that's the best thing that I got from it. I hope I could spark your interest to meditations through this video. And if you want to try it and thought, okay, that made sense, and feel free to comment anything below if you have any questions, since I have been doing it for 4 years and can tell you a bit about my progress and mistakes I made. You can't really make a mistake in a meditation, but if you have any questions in general about it, you can ask them below. If anyone wants to start with this, I recommend starting very low with 3 minutes, 5 minutes, just sitting there and being with yourself, feeling what you feel. And from there, you can test it out, how you like it. It has scientifically a lot of benefits. So I highly recommend everyone to at least try it for a certain amount of time.